Last week, we finally saw the AJ Bell Women's Tour after it was cancelled in 2020 and postponed earlier this year. While some big names were absent, there was still an impressive roster taking to the UK's roads to compete in the final Women's World Tour stage race of the year. That also provided us with one of the last opportunities to drool over the latest pro-level tech this year. But before we look at these go-fast bikes, don't forget to subscribe and click that little bell icon, so every time we upload a video, you will get a notification. Having soloed to victory at the inaugural edition of the Women's Paris-Roubaix, Lizzie Deignan was back just days after defending her title at the Women's Tour. Away from the bone-shaking cobbles of northern France, Lizzie switched from the endurance-oriented Trek de Mane to the brand's aero climbing bike, the Amonda SLR. Her particular bike was fitted with a SRAM Red ETAP AXS group set with a 10 to 33 tooth cassette at the back and a SRAM Red AXS power meter crankset with 50/37 chainrings up front. This is a much more traditional setup compared to the one-by gearing the champion ran at Roubaix. Deignan is, however, still running Bontrager's Alias RSL 37 wheels. Those are wrapped in Pirelli P0 Race SL tubeless tyres, which are lighter than the Pirelli P0 TLRs she ran for Roubaix. Deignan is also using a Bontrager Anya Pro saddle, which is said to be bedded in for her before use. Up front is a one-piece Bontrager Alias RSL VRC integrated cockpit. The stem has a -7 degree drop and is 120mm long, helping achieve an aggressive riding position. If you're interested in some of the other tech trends from this year's Paris-Roubaix, then click on the link in the top corner of this video or in the description below. Elisa Balsamo also raced at Paris-Roubaix. However, she rode the same bike for the Women's Tour. The newly crowned World Champion's bike gained rainbow-adorned wheels and cranks, completing a rather spectacular looking bike. What do you think of the rainbow look? Let us know in the comments. Interestingly, underneath the new paintwork, Balsamo is running the same Vision Metron 40 wheels and FSA Powerbox power meter crankset as on her Roubaix bike. If you recognise that name, it's because Joslyn Loudon recently set an incredible new Women's Hour record. She did this aboard an Argon 18 Electron Pro. However, at the Women's Tour, she was back on her team issue Ribble. The Ribble Endurance SLR disc she was riding is decked out with a Quark power meter crankset and a Shimano Ultegra Di2 R8070 drivetrain. Loudon is running 53/39 chainrings up front and an 11 to 30 tooth cassette out back. While many pro bikes are now fitted with in-house components, Loudon bucks this trend. She has opted for a fabric-lined saddle and envies aero handlebar and aero stem, rather than her team sponsor Ribble handlebar and saddle. While Continental has recently released its new GP5000 STR tubeless tyres, Loudon has instead opted for the older, plain old GP5000 fitted to her Mavic wheels. UK National Road Champion Alice Barnes' 51cm Canyon Aeroad is painted red, white and blue, in honour of the jersey she has held since 2019. The bike is fitted with a SRAM Red ETAP AXS group set with a matching SRAM Red AXS power meter crankset. Compared to Deignan's 50/37 setup, Barnes has opted for smaller 48/35 chainrings with a correspondingly smaller 10 to 28 tooth cassette. Barnes is using Canyon's fully integrated aero cockpit. This one-piece design has a long 120mm stem, which is said to be her personal preference. She is using Zip Firecrest 303 wheels fitted with 28mm wide Schwalbe Pro 1 tubeless tyres. Schwalbe ceased production of tubular tyres a few years ago and, at the time, made explicit suggestions that it was moving to sponsor a team with its tubeless tyres. Amy Peters rode this specialised S-Works Tarmac SL7 to victory on the second stage of this year's Women's Tour. Peters is running the same SRAM group set as Barnes, with the integrated power meter as well. Peters has also opted for a 48 35 tooth chainset, but has gone for a bigger 10 to 33 tooth cassette. While we're more used to seeing specialised bikes kitted out with the brand's own components, as we saw on Peter Sagan's World Championships bike, Peters' bike instead has Zip 353 NSW wheels and a Zip handlebar. Peters is also running specialised S-Works Turbo tubeless tyres. The more eagle-eyed of you may have noticed that every bike we've featured is running tubeless tyres. While acceptance of tubeless tyres has been relatively slow among the pro ranks, it looks as though the tech is beginning to finally make serious inroads. And there you have it, 5 of the best bikes at the Women's Tour. Which one is your favourite? Or is there one that we missed? Let us know in the comments. And while you're in there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that little bell icon so you get notified whenever we post a video.